Morning, people. How y'all doing? I'm sitting out here on my balcony. It's Tuesday morning. Um, I decided I was gonna do this impromptu, maybe because there's a lot going on and there's a lot on my mind. So I figure I'd vent. Um, One of the things is I'm gonna start transitioning to um, this Facebook page for my weekly podcast. I set this page up specifically for that reason, so I could have all the information in one place and you could, I know you guys are busy and I appreciate your support, but this way you can view the podcast at your leisure if you're tied up on Thursday nights. The other thing is I want to expand on the content that I give to you guys. There are a lot of information I want to disseminate, and I think this would give me the opportunity to do this. Initially, I had two pages on Facebook. I had one page where I would cut up and act a fool, just kind of cut loose. I called it for entertainment purposes only. And then I had a family page where I had to kind of behave myself. Um, I think being an adult, you have to be a bit of a hypocrite. You know, you still have your things that you do with your friends, but you should behave yourself and set an example in front of your children, your grandchildren, and what have you, especially by the time that you're a grandparent. So that's just my own feelings. Those that agree get it. Those that don't, well, you know. I guess what's really on my mind this morning is this COVID and Corona thing. I kind of shifted gears. I started off talking about current events because that's what was really happening. Then I kind of shifted to politics because that's what was really pertinent with this upcoming election. And then current events became Corona. So that dominated my podcast as well. What's so funny is my mom's always say, son, I don't know what it is about education, but get as much as you can because they were willing to kill us to keep us from having it. She also said that it's the one thing that nobody could ever take from you. And then that was reiterated by one of the doctors that I work with. So I'm sitting here on my balcony and I could hear people working in the distance, and you might hear this lawnmower or whatever. So hopefully my voice is the most dominant thing that you hear. But like I said, this was just impromptu. I've lost numerous people to this whole Corona thing. I haven't used anybody's name. I posted the story on Larice because she had personal ties in more ways than one. She went to nursing school with my daughter, and she worked at the last hospital that I helped to open. So she's the only person that I talked about personally. And I did that on purpose because I hate when politicians are on the road and they're campaigning and they talk about the little lady that they met in Iowa eating a ice cream cone, and they give out the name. To the person, it's a shout out, but I think it's politicizing people's misfortune sometimes. So I chose not to do that, and I choose not to do that. But there's a, in respect to this whole Corona thing and how it's affecting not just the people that passed, but those that are left behind. Um, I'm going to talk about this, and those that know me from high school and what have you, or know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to use my friend's name. Last week, one of my high school best friends passed, and his sister is like my sister, and she called to let me know. And on the day that she called me, I was unavailable, so she called back a couple of days later, and she told me what had happened, that he had passed. And then she kind of blew my mind because, I grew up in New Orleans, so this is a New Orleans tale. And so we know how I brought to light how New Orleans had been ravaged long before it became a national story. So this just kind of resonated with me. This just kind of struck a chord. This just kind of hit me. And initially it didn't hit me. But she told me, she says, when they call a funeral home to make arrangements for his cremation, they were told that there was 21 bodies ahead of him. 21 people just sitting around like frozen ribs in the freezer or the refrigerator, waiting their turn to be taken care of. Okay, those are remains. So those people are taken care of. And I understand, on one hand, it's disrespectful to the dead, but on the other hand, these places are overwhelmed. And that's just one of several funeral homes around the city. So I know what's happening in New Orleans, and I have New York contacts and connections and family as well. So I know what's happening up there. During our conversation, her sister called and she said that they moved him up to the front of the line because they paid out of pocket for his services, and they're waiting, and they'll just get their money back once the insurance money kicks in or whatever. But I'm thinking about the other 21 families who didn't have those resources, and they're just waiting indefinitely. I just know how they feel not being able to have that closure. So to this whole corona thing, in response of this corona thing, those people that passed, it's really sad. And I'm not taking anything, I'm not discounting their debts. But the family that's left behind, first of all, to lose a loved one and know that they died alone. Now, my friend succumbed to what I call complications of corona. But these people that are dying alone, and then they get a call, their loved ones or their family get a call saying that, your uncle, your mom, your sister, your brother, your daughter has passed. And then they're just stacked in the hall, or they're stacked in the mall, or then they finally make it to the funeral homes, and it's the same thing. They're stacked in some freezer and they're waiting. So imagine what that does to the family. They never had a chance to say goodbye to their loved ones. And now their closure, their final goodbyes are delayed, deferred, because either the insurance company is overwhelmed or the funeral parlor is overwhelmed. So this thing is crazy, and it just kind of, like I said, struck a chord with me. Um, I'm tired of people politicizing it. I came down on Andrew Cuomo simply because in the beginning it was cool that he was taking charge and doing what a governor is supposed to do of the state of New York. But then it went a step further. So I'm just tired of people politicizing and exploiting other folks' misfortune. So this was a rant. This was a early morning purge. This was me talking to you. The sad part is I always got something to say. Most of the times I'll research it to make sure it's true before I tell you. But there's always two sides to the story. So with that, I don't do this for personal gain, and that's why I don't use people's names. I don't do this for any other reason other than I feel like it needs to be done a certain way. And I ask myself, if Walter Cronkite were alive today, those people that I respected as newscasters growing up, how would they disseminate this information? Because I think disseminating information is different than giving the news today. Today, everybody wants to be a personality. It's all about the nonsense. So I try to bring issues that I think are pertinent. I try to bring issues in a way that I think informs and breaks down a lot of the poly tricks and break through the demagoguery. That's a Jesse word I just made up. So, folks, like I said, this was impromptu. I just had a couple things on my mind. I wanted to rant. I wanted to purge. I wanted to get it off, but I wanted to say that. I'm going to start bringing my podcast to this location. But in the meantime, I want to show you guys my serenity. So, this is what I see off of my balcony. Off in the distance, you see that telephone post. 1 mile, well, more like 4 miles that way, is the Kennedy Space Center. So I can stand or sit on my balcony and watch the space launches. So, seeing nothing but these trees from my bedroom window gives me a certain amount of peace of mind and serenity. So it allows me to think. I come out here and I write sometimes. I come out here sometimes and I put together my podcast. I do some research, and sometimes I come out here and like you see, I'll just drink me a beer, or I'll take my Corona medicine. I call it Maker's Mark. So I didn't want to make this dark. I just wanted to get something off my mind. And I want to start bringing my audience from my Facebook page to the page that I designated as I've got something to say. So it must be true. I hope everybody out there is doing well. I'm sure by this date, everybody has been touched in some shape, form, or fashion by this whole corona thing. You know of someone, if not someone personally, So let's cut through the nonsense and let's try to be there for each other. If you know me, you know that I'm not about the bullshit. Um, I'm not politically correct. I probably don't. I'm not touchy feely at times. I'm I'm a contradiction because I care about people, but I'm not touchy feely. And I see some people starting to tune in. And I don't want to stretch this out because I don't want it to be nothing than what it was on my mind. So, good morning, folks. I see you, Clarissa. I see you, Brownie. Sarita, I haven't talked to you in about 900 years. What's going on, Miss Chicago? So, anyway, folks, I'm going to go ahead and sign off because this was not so much about bringing people live. It was about me saying what was on my heart. So, I'm going to start the transition to bringing my podcast, my weekly podcast here on Thursday nights at 7:30. And I'll keep you abreast as to when that's happening. I tried to make it in one swoop, but I guess most people didn't get the memo, the email, or the smoke signal. So moving forward, we're going to come over here. I'm going to go up in here and find me something to eat. I'm going to go up in here and take care of myself while you guys are here. I know it appears that I tell you everything, but I'm going to share something with the guys that are here. I didn't want my daughters to worry about me and my friends to call and fuss at me. But you guys know that about 6 weeks ago, I ran a motorcycle into a parked truck. And I would have been on lockdown anyway because I had some injuries. But the one thing that I really played down, and I'm saying this and I'm sharing this because, hey, you guys are here and we like family. I had a third-degree burn from the muffler, the exhaust pipe on my leg, and it's slowly coming back together. So I just I'll come out and I'll let it get some sun. I just put some aloe vera on it. I clean it, put some aloe vera on it. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's kind of, I'm just starting to get the third degree burn is the worst because it goes through all of what's called the epidermis, or the top layers of skin, into the subdermal tissue. A couple of the birds coming by to say hello. So that's what I love about it. I get every kind of bird out here. So you see how my mind just kind of winds this. But this is the worst part of my injuries. You ready? So it's nasty, huh? I know, man. I third degree burn. I'm just starting. The second degree burn has already healed. Just above that, I kind of see. This here was the second degree burn. It's already healed. This was the third degree burn. I'm just starting to get some big pigmentation in that top layer of skin. Is just starting to come back. It's shrunk a lot. The other thing was I think I broke a couple bones in my feet because it's swollen, and this was a burn as well, and that's where the stitches was. So, you know, being a superhero ain't easy. I'm probably still gonna get the motorcycle, and I know what you're saying. I could hear some people already fussing, and I know if this gets to my daughters, they're gonna freak out because nobody knows how serious the accident was, you know. But that's what we do. Folks, good morning. I know y'all at home. Stay at home. Take care of yourself. Like I said, at this stage of the virus, we've all been touched in some shape, form, or fashion. But the truth of the matter is, we've all come in contact with the virus. If we have 6 degrees of separation, you've gone somewhere, be it the grocery store or the gas station, you've come into contact with somebody that has the virus. And the fact that your immune system is what it is, you've been able to warn off the virus. So I think that's the key. With all of this, I'm going to wish you guys a great day. I'm going to go up in here and who's fixing breakfast this morning? Have a great day, folks. Love you all. Peace. I'm out of here.